Hi and welcome. This is a review of House of Dragon, episode 4. And let's take a look at where this one goes. We have Daemon showing up at the castle of the king. He is wearing a crown that he got from the crab feeder. And he is welcomed into the palace. His brother, the king, basically welcomes him back into the family and into the kingdom and thanks him for defeating the crab feeder. But at the same time, he's worried because him and Corlys have abandoned the island, the steppes, and who knows who is coming to take that over again. Daemon says to him, well, there's, thousands of corpses there that are guarding the island. But either way, he's welcomed back. While that happens, we see that the princess is happy to see her uncle again and happy that he's been reinstated. And her uncle Daemon is happy to see her again. As we know, they both like each other. But they take it a little too far where the princess goes through a secret passage to escape at night with her uncle, and they go into what we call the seedy part of town, where they're watching outside shows, if you will. The princess sees a show that basically makes fun of her and her family and gets a little bit upset about it, but Daemon says to her, don't worry about it, it doesn't really matter what these people think. And so they're out having a good time, but things get a little carried away as they visit a brothel, and Daemon starts kissing his niece, and as things get more hot and bothered, Daemon pulls away and goes to another part of the brothel with some woman of the night, let's just say. He gets drunk and whatever. The princess leaves the brothel and heads home, where she ends up in the arms of her bodyguard. And at the palace, she loses her virginity to her bodyguard. This episode is basically, there's no real action that takes place in this episode at all. It's all politics and sex. That's really the whole episode. The king finds out from Otto that his daughter has been out carousing with Daemon. And so the royal guard goes out and fetches Daemon for an audience with the king. Now, Daemon is drunk still and has a hangover and everything else. And so they're literally dragging him before the king. The king basically puts Daemon into exile again and tells him to go home to his wife. Daemon says that he wants to marry the princess, and the king's not having any part of that at all, and is very angry at his brother Daemon. And so Daemon is exiled again. He just can't catch a good break, that guy. Otto, who was the bearer of bad tidings about all of this, is called before the king because in a conversation that the king had with his daughter, the princess, she said that the lies about her losing her virginity, and that they were lies, period, and that she didn't lose her virginity, and that Otto is spies are just making stories up, and that why are they spying on her in the first place, and that Otto just wants the throne for himself. Now, if you know anything about Otto, he has served the king before Paddy Considine's king. And so he actually trained the king to be the king. And so the king is now worried about this, and he has doubts about his hand. And so in a quick decision, which is kind of shocking for this king's character itself, because he's always like walking around indecisive, confused, the castle, and can't make any type of decision that anybody can see. He makes a snap decision to get rid of Otto. Not kill him, at least not yet that I know of, but he takes the hand away from him. Basically says to him, you're no longer the hand, and that he can't trust him. Now, Otto has been his best friend for many years, and this coming from the king in such a snap decision is kind of strange. But that is the decision that he makes, which is kind of shocking. But once again, like I said, this episode's full of politicking. And so we see that. This episode really is setting up, hopefully, setting up carnage to come, and hopefully setting up some sort of action scenes. But we'll see what happens. I found that episode to be, well, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it that much. The acting is very good. Paddy Considine is very good in the show. He's a very good actor. Matt Smith is good in the show. Otto is very good in the show as well. I think the show is held up by good acting, but once again, it's slow and sort of boring because there's no real activity going on except for talking and talking and talking. Not much really happened in this episode. So I'm on my scale of 5. I would rate this particular episode a 2.5. This show, I believe, since now that I've seen several of the show's episodes, I think this is an average show. Okay, is it better than Rings of Power? From what I've seen of Rings of Power, yes, this is a better show. But is this better than like The Last Kingdom? No, it's not even in the same category as The Last Kingdom. Last Kingdom is a superior show, period. But this show is okay. It's watchable, and given what's out there right now, currently, for shows to watch, which isn't much at all, I would say it's average. It's entertaining at a minimum. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Have them subscribe. Hit the like button. Until next time. Bye.